At 6:47 p.m., Liam is standing in a dealership staring at two numbers. The first number is the price of the car, $61,800. The second number is the monthly payment, $892. The salesman points to the smaller number. Liam keeps staring at the bigger one. Most people don't. That's where the story begins. Because 10 years later, that moment will be worth more than most people earn in an entire year. Not because of the car, because of what never happened. The strange thing about wealth is that it rarely starts with something you do. It usually starts with something you refuse to do. Purchase, an upgrade, a lifestyle everyone else says you've earned. That same week, 3 of Liam's co-workers celebrate promotions. One upgrades apartments. Another trades in a perfectly functional vehicle. The third starts posting photos from a luxury vacation financed over the next 2 years. Everything looks normal, successful even. If you walk through the office on Friday afternoon, you'd probably assume all 3 were moving forward. Liam doesn't look like he's moving anywhere. Same clothes, same apartment, same phone, same routine. And that's exactly why nobody notices what happens next. 3 days after payday, most people's money begins leaving instructions behind. A subscription, payment, a financing plan, a minimum balance, an installment, little pieces of yesterday reaching into tomorrow. One by one, month after month. The amounts don't look dangerous. $19, $42, $87, $126. That's the trick. Nobody ruins their finances with a number that scares them. They do it with numbers that feel harmless. Imagine a bucket with a tiny hole in the bottom. 1 drop doesn't matter. Neither does 10. Neither does 100. But leave it long enough and eventually the bucket becomes the problem. Not the water, the leak. Most people spend years looking for bigger incomes. Very few spend time looking for leaks. Liam accidentally discovers this during a Sunday morning he barely remembers. Coffee in one hand, banking app in the other. Nothing dramatic. Until he notices something strange. His salary keeps growing. His account balance doesn't. The math makes no sense. More money should create more money. Yet every raise seems to disappear. As if life quietly expands to consume whatever arrives. The realization bothers him. For weeks, then months. Eventually he starts tracking every dollar. Not because he's obsessed. Because he's curious. And what he finds is uncomfortable. The expensive purchases aren't causing the damage. The invisible ones are. The purchases that don't feel like purchases anymore. The automatic renewals. The convenience upgrades. The monthly commitments. The things he agreed to once and forgot about forever. Suddenly every dollar looks different. Not because of what it costs today. Because of where it could have gone instead. And once you start seeing money that way, something changes. You stop looking at purchases. You start looking at futures. That's when Liam notices a number nobody around him is paying attention to. Not income, not debt, not credit score. A much more dangerous number. The percentage of each paycheck that already belongs to the past before it even arrives. The answer shocks him. Almost 68% of his income is already spoken for. Before he buys food. Before he saves. Before he lives. Money arrives. Money leaves. The process is so automatic it barely feels real. And once he sees it, he starts noticing it everywhere. Friends celebrating raises they haven't actually kept. Coworkers financing things they already own. People earning 6 figures while checking account balances before dinner. The entire system seems upside down. The highest earners aren't always the people gaining the most ground. Sometimes they're losing it fastest. Because income creates attention. Expenses create gravity. And gravity always wins if nobody fights it. A year later, something happens. The company announces layoffs. Not everyone loses their job. But everyone feels the fear. The office changes overnight. Conversations become quieter. Lunches become shorter. People start calculating. How long can I survive? What happens if it's me? What bills can wait? What bills can't? Liam runs the same calculation. The answer surprises him. For the first time in his adult life, panic never arrives. Not because he's rich. Not even close. Because he has margin. Margin is invisible. Nobody posts about it. Nobody shows it off. Nobody brags about emergency funds at parties. Yet it might be the most valuable asset a person can own. The ability to survive without immediately falling apart. The ability to make decisions without desperation controlling them. The ability to wait. Most people underestimate waiting, because waiting looks passive. In reality, waiting creates power. The investor who can wait buys differently. The employee who can wait negotiates differently. The business owner who can wait operates differently. The person who can wait is playing a completely different game. Meanwhile, something else begins happening. Very slowly at first. Almost too slowly to notice. Money starts working. Not in some dramatic way. No lucky stock. No overnight success. No viral crypto story. Just automatic investments arriving every month. Again, and again, and again. The amounts look boring. A few $100s. Then a few hundred more. Nothing impressive. Until the numbers begin talking to each other. That's the part nobody warns you about. The first $10,000 feels impossible. The second arrives faster. The third faster still. Then suddenly years of invisible progress become visible all at once. And the people around Liam begin asking a question. How is someone so ordinary getting ahead? They see the result. They miss the decade of decisions that created it. Because the truth is uncomfortable. Progress often looks boring while it's happening. Failure often looks exciting. 10 years pass. Not in a montage. Not in a movie. In ordinary Tuesdays. Traffic. Groceries. Meetings. Paydays. Thousands of tiny decisions nobody remembers making. The people around Liam don't notice the change immediately. Why would they? His life doesn't look dramatically different. The same practical habits remain. The same reluctance to upgrade things that still work. The same refusal to spend money simply because he has it. From the outside, almost nothing happened. Inside the numbers, everything happened. One former coworker now earns nearly twice Liam's income, yet somehow owes more than ever. A larger house, larger payments, larger obligations, a life that requires constant maintenance. Every raise became another commitment. Every success created another bill. The treadmill got faster, but it remained a treadmill. Liam's path looks different. His income increased too. The difference is what happened next. His lifestyle stopped growing first. The gap stayed open. And over time that gap became an engine. An engine that worked while he slept. Worked while he traveled. Worked while he worried about completely unrelated things. That is the part people misunderstand about wealth. Wealth isn't a reward. It's a machine. A machine built from thousands of decisions nobody applauds. The problem is that most people spend years building a different machine. One designed to consume. Consume income. Consume raises. Consume opportunities. Consume time. Then they wonder why freedom never arrives. Because freedom is expensive. Not in dollars. In discipline. In patience. In saying no when saying yes feels better. Eventually Liam reaches a point where something unexpected happens. Money stops being the most important thing money provides. The real value turns out to be something else. Choice. The choice to leave. The choice to stay. The choice to help family. The choice to take a risk. The choice to walk away from a bad situation without fear. That's when he finally understands what the dealership never sold him 10 years earlier. The car was never the decision. The payment was. The monthly commitment. The future income already promised away. And suddenly he sees the same pattern everywhere. Most financial mistakes don't happen because people make terrible decisions. They happen because people make comfortable ones. Comfortable today. Expensive tomorrow. That's why two people can earn the same income and end up living completely different lives. One spends years purchasing appearances. The other spends years purchasing options. For a while, they look identical. Then enough time passes, and the difference becomes impossible to hide. Because one person owns impressive things. The other owns their future. And in the end, those are very different kinds of wealth. If you found yourself somewhere in this story, you're not alone. Most people are taught how to earn money. Very few are taught how to keep it. That's exactly what this channel is about. So if you want more videos that break down the real behaviors behind wealth, subscribe. And if this gave you a new perspective, leave a like. Because understanding money isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about making sure the next 10 years don't look exactly like the last 10.